This video is going to teach you everything you need to know about SQL for complete beginners. So SQL, or SQL, is a coding language that you can use to get data from a database. And a database is like a collection of Excel spreadsheets. And each spreadsheet is called a table. So if you were a data analyst and your company had hundreds of spreadsheets of data, it would be a huge pain to sift through hundreds of spreadsheets to find the exact data you're looking for. So instead, we write SQL code on our computer, which is like writing instructions for the database to return the data that we're asking for. SQL code is actually a lot easier to learn than you might think because it's written a lot like spoken English. So for example, this SQL code is saying to select all of the columns from a table called customers where their age is greater than 55. It's also much easier to learn SQL if you're already familiar with a spreadsheet tool like Excel or Google Sheets. So these are probably the first 5 clauses that you will learn in SQL, and they translate really well from Excel or Google Sheets. The select clause in SQL is kind of like choosing which columns you want to use in Excel. So imagine having a spreadsheet with a bunch of hidden columns, and using select is kind of like unhiding the columns that you want to use. The from clause in SQL is kind of like saying which spreadsheet or table you want to take your data from. The where clause is like applying filters to your data. So in my previous example, that's like saying where the age is greater than 55 or applying that age filter. The group by clause is sort of like applying a pivot table to your data to group it by row labels. For example, if you're working with sales data, you might want to group your data by month. So you might want to look at the total sales by month. And lastly, order by is sort of like sorting your data in Excel. So maybe you want your data sorted in alphabetical order. The basics of SQL can be learned relatively quickly. So if you want to start coding in SQL, hit the follow button for free SQL tutorials.